On issues like foreign policy, the economy, but there was no emphasis really on social issues. This is going to surprise you, probably please you, it won't please my wife, but it will please you to hear. I opposed Roe versus Wade when it was decided in 1973. I strongly support a woman's right to choose to have an abortion, but I didn't find the right to have an abortion in the Constitution, and I don't think the right to abortion is at all like gay marriage. In gay marriage, there is no accountability interest on the other side. It's nobody's damn business if two gay men and two gay women marry or have sex together. Abortion is different. There's a fetus. You might think a fetus is a human being, you might not, but there's a reasonable dispute and debate about that, and that's an issue that probably ought to be resolved legislatively rather than judicially. But the effect of Roe versus Wade was to really make Eisenhower and Rockefeller Republicans disappear. George W. Bush, the first George Bush, was a Republican who supported women's right to choose. But after Roe versus Wade, it became easy for Republicans to give up that argument because they said to the suburban people, particularly women, well, don't worry about it, it's protected by the Constitution. You can vote for me even if I have to posture that I'm against abortion because I want to create an alliance with the evangelicals. And Roe versus Wade created the right to life movement and energized the evangelical movement and made them an indispensable part of the Republican Party. It helped assure Republican victories in a number of elections in parts of the world. I don't think it was good for America, for the world, and it didn't happen in Britain. In Britain, there was no Roe versus Wade. In Britain, there was no evangelical movement, and so the conservative movement in Britain remained conservative. What is conservatives? Conservatives are keep the government out of your bedroom, keep the government off your deathbed, keep the government out of your pocketbook. And evangelicals say, you have your pocketbook, but we want them in the bedroom, we want them in the bathroom, we want them at your deathbed telling you when you should pull the plug. And it became an enormous difference. And so it's interesting. I'll tell you a story. It's an income story. So my wife and I are at celebrating July 4th, 5 years ago, and the phone rings. Hello, it's Donald. So, Donald who? What do you mean Donald who? Donald Trump. I need you to get on a plane this afternoon. 3 o'clock. My grandkids are in town on July 4th. I need you to come to Baumeister, my hotel in New Jersey, for dinner. I said, but we have a plan. We're having a big event on July 4th, and all of our friends are going to be very sad. I'll get you back by 11 o'clock. In fact, I got back before my wife left the party. But what was the reason for me calling the Baumeister for dinner? His 2 guests for dinner that night were the Amir Qatar and the Amir Qatar's brother. And this was the middle of the negotiations about the Abraham Accords and all the Middle East issues. And he said, Alan, I need you to persuade the Amir Qatar not to oppose the Day of Accords. He said, he respects you. I had met him twice. They had invited me to come and speak. So how do I say no to that? So I got on the airplane. And here's the table. I'm at the end over here. The Amir is over here. And Trump is over here. Trump's wife is over here. And the Amir's brother is over here. And I'm using my best advocacy in the world over here. I'm persuading him how much better it would be to not only technologically not to oppose the accords that will make the Middle East more stable. In the middle of my advocacy, suddenly I hear from then President Trump. So, Al, why don't you people vote for me? I said, first of all, Mr. President, I don't have any people. Second of all, if you're asking me, you said, I'm the best president the Jews ever had. I'm the best president Israel ever had. I said, Mr. President, you're absolutely right. You are the best president Israel ever had. And for me, it's a thrill to go up to the Trump it actually has been renamed. And what you did for Jews on college campuses, passing an executive order saying that anti-Semitism and anti-Zionism are as bad as other forms of racism, I commend you for that. But Jews don't vote on one issue. We vote on a range of issues. And if you could get the Republican Party to change its platform, you would get a lot more Jewish support. But but it doesn't matter because he's a great man and he wrote a great book and everybody should buy Get Trump. I didn't say to him because he sent me this after he spoke on the phone. I didn't say to him, I actually have proof that I was one of the few voters who can prove who voted for outcome. My wife, my wonderful wife Carolyn, she also had her doubts about whether I was really going to vote for Trump or Biden. We were on Martha's Vineyard, and she said, Alan, I'm videotaping who you voted for. And we took out a Florida resident, absentee. We had the Florida form, and I filled in the box for Biden. Carolyn videotaped it. And so we now have proof. I think I'm going to figure out a way of sending it to President Trump so he no longer says that he really thinks that voted for him. So why did I write Get Trump? By the way, not an original title. I wish I could claim credit for it. It's not an original title. It comes from the Attorney General of New York's campaign brochures and promises. She said, if I'm elected Attorney General, I promise you I will get Trump. And District Attorney Bragg made a similar promise. So I borrowed the title from her and from him. Now, if you put that, you promise to get Trump, you get elected. You want to be reelected, you have to keep your campaign promises, right? So you have to get Trump. Now, what are you going to get him on? Well, they didn't figure that out. First, they figured out they had to get the guy. Once they figured that out and they win their election, then they rummage through the statute books and they figure out, can we get him? Just like they did with Al Capone. They couldn't get Al Capone for the mass murders because he would murder the witnesses, so they got him for tax evasion where you didn't need the witnesses. There's a big difference. Al Capone actually committed tax evasion and tax fraud. So the question is, did Donald Trump commit any crimes in New York law? The answer is categorically no. Let me explain why. There are two charges against him. One is a misdemeanor, statute of limitations 2 years, a misdemeanor that occurred 7 years ago, in which he, through Michael Cohen, paid $130,000 to a former porn star named Stormy Daniels, and in exchange for the $130,000, she signed an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement, promising that she would never make public her claim that Donald Trump had committed adultery with her while he was married to his current wife. That was the agreement. So, what the indictment that's being planned presupposes is that in order to avoid that, what Trump should have done was the following. He had to fill out a form, corporate form, with $103,000 done. According to Bragg, what he should have said was, I paid $130,000 of hush money to keep secret the fact that I was having an adulterous affair with a porn star, but now I'm writing that in a public corporate form. Has anybody in history ever disclosed in a public corporate form a non-disclosure agreement payment? Of course not. Has anybody in history ever been indicted for not doing that? Of course not. The purpose of the non-disclosure agreement, the purpose of hush money is to keep it hush. And of course the money was paid through his lawyer. And so he wrote down that it was legal expenses. Is that a crime? If it's a crime, it's a slap on the wrist misdemeanor with a small fine. But that, right? He didn't promise to get him for a misdemeanor, he promised to get him. So he had to fund the felony. Felony has 5 years deputy. So what's the felony? The felony is that when he made the non-disclosure agreement and he signed that corporate form, he didn't sign